Good afternoon. Good afternoon to everyone. Thank you so much for joining the Mothers Board Inc. And we have our beautiful, very knowledgeable panel ladies here. And we have Pastor Claudine Collins, and we have Dr. Janice McCollister, and then there's me, yours truly. And so I am just so thankful for everybody being here. We have some great topics to discuss today. And so we'd like for you to chime in with your messages on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitch, and on Africa TV. Then later on X, which is formerly Twitter, and then on LinkedIn. So you can comment on any of those avenues that you want to. But getting started now, we have some great discussion topics today. So I'm going to have Pastor Claudine to introduce herself and talk about her ministry and her life and goals.
God bless. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Dr. McAllister. We thank God for being here and being a part of the Mothers Board Inc. And I thought I'd never say that, but keep living, you're going to get old. So I realized that now I am on the Mothers Board. And I thank God for it because um, when you have the promise of three scores and ten, and you make that, everything after that is grace and mercy. So I thank God for grace and mercy. My name is Pastor Claudine Collins, and I am a preacher's kid, born and bred, and been in the church all my life. Was a part of the Wheatley Church of God in Christ that was by my pastor, and after his passing, and I decided to go into ministry for myself. Always in the ministry, have some women's ministries and men, and have a children's ministry that's on hold that God gave it to me, and I've been trying to get my daughter acclimated to become a part. But young people are not so apt to do it. But she's gonna make it. I just believe that. And I am the pastor of the Temple of Praise Sanctuary Ministries, and it is an online ministry. It wasn't until COVID, but after COVID, we had to go online due to the increase of cost for buildings and hotel rooms. So I thank God for that, and it is a ministry that I can say that has transparent and has transferred people that are not in this state or in this city. They're from other states and other cities, and after so much training, they'll come to me and say, I'm saved now and I'm ready to go in house." And so what they'll do is they'll go out and search for a church in their area, and then they'll send me videos or send me, let me be on Facebook at night when I'm on there. And so we'll listen to them, listen to the word, and see if everything, all the checks and balances balance out, and it's a good ministry, and it is. And most of them are now have positions in church, and they're doing great. I also am a district missionary in Texas Northeast First Ecclesiastical Jurisdiction under the Bishop James E. Hornsby and Supervisor Paula Thompson. I've been a district missionary for 30 something years. And so I love what I do. I love all of it. But the greatest joy of my life is preaching the Word of God and seeing people be saved and delivered, and knowing that God is a healer, God is a right now God, and that He can do anything but fail. And being under some of the greatest women that I know that I'm on this line with this morning, uh, Dr. Davis is just, she is just multi-talented. He's really, and humble in the way. And Dr. McAllister was my teacher for my training in counseling, and she was a great and powerful inspiration. Matter of fact, I have people now ask me what was her name and where was she, because she is a powerful woman of God. So thank God for sharing, for Pastor David sharing the stage with me. It's a golden opportunity. God is doing a new thing in my life. He's restoring what the cankerworm tried to destroy. And I thank God for you all. So pray for me.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you. You are very gifted, and you are very industrious too. And on top of that, most of all, saved, sanctified, and filled with the Holy Ghost, and very knowledgeable, not only in the Word of God, but in whatever is going on in the world around us. And so I am so happy that you consented to join in and be on the Mother's Board Inc. Thank you so much, because we not only pray, and preach and
Yeah.
teach. We keep up with the current events and the politics and all of that. So we do take care of and pay attention to all of that. And that's
Yeah.
why we can talk about it. And then you just chime on in, start your fingers to walk on the keyboard. We'll be glad to see what you have to say, everybody. Now, Dr. J,
Yes, ma'am.
introduce yourself again, please.
Well, I am Dr. Mack, and I am with Lighthouse Women Ministries Association, and I am very pleased to be on the Mother's Board. And as my great aunt used to say, just keep believing, and you'll make it. And I've done it. So it's a pleasure to be with you. It's a pleasure to be with women who have the same mind and want to do something. Change is not something that's great. It's something that occurs in small steps. So when we
Hmm.
get in good trouble, we actually are being gifts and
That's right.
blessings to others.
Yes.
Thank God.
Thank you so
Y'all
much.
excuse me.
Okay.
I have my grandbaby with me today, and she has decided that she's going to play this music, and I can't cut it off.
Well, we can still hear you. We still hear you.
Can y'all hear?
Oh,
Yes,
Can you
yes.
hear
fine.
our music?
Yes.
Cindy,
Yes.
stop.
Appreciate the
Cut it off.
Yes.
invitation.
Yes.
Welcome.
So our names came up. So thank God for that. Our names came up. And so, of course, I'm affiliated with the Lighthouse Women's Ministry Association of America. Also, and of
Yes.
course,
Mhm.
Dr. Mack and her husband, Brother Robert, are the founders of the organization. And so I'm working in the Lighthouse Women's Ministry Association all of America also. And then, of course, Greater Gospel Temple, the Church of Praise and Worship. God has chosen me to lead in the ministry and also the Inspiration of God Ministries, I brought that all the way. It's a worldwide ministry, and I've been, oh gosh, since the 70s. Great Inspiration of God Ministries, and so many other things that the Lord has blessed me to do. So we're going to go right on into it. So, Dr. Mack, you had some topics that you submitted, and I think they're. Let me have them going across here. And so, would you start out, please?
Well, today I was thinking more in terms of current events and politics. Basically, a reflection on an incident that happened on, I believe, Wednesday night. And we're talking about the presumptive nominee's visit to the National Association of Black Journalists. That was exactly, and I wrote down, I actually watched the whole speech after reading a couple of the articles. I said, oh no, we need to go watch the speech. It was 36 minutes and 27 seconds, and I was on pins the whole time. Now, he came out. He reminded them first that they had kept him waiting. Um, he didn't start on time. In other words, you know, uh, I know we have CP time, but he did eventually say that they were having trouble with their PA system. Now, this is the National Association of Black Journalists. On the last night of the convention, when I heard that he would be visiting that on either Wednesday or Thursday night, I said to myself, that is not a good thing. I don't understand the reason why he would do that. But there were three female journalists. For those of you who didn't look at it, three female journalists, one from ABC, one from Fox, and another from a different venue. And the questions were the questions that had been submitted to be asked about him. I mean, the very first thing he did was call the ABC person out, the woman, and said she was rude because I do understand what she wanted to do. If they were late, she was trying to go ahead and um, get on with the questions. Read an article this morning that said the lateness wasn't really all regarding the PA, the public address system. It was more about whether or not he would come out. Um, he came looking, he said, looking for the vice presidential presumptive nominee for the Democratic Party, and she wasn't there. But it was said early that she would be on Zoom in September. She was at a different venue speaking, and this was an opportunity for him to say what he needed to say, and ask the questions that he needed to say. Now, called her rude right off because there was no homage paid to him, as it were. Really, you know, it was, it's like, I'm here, look up to me. So, and that is not what happened. So he said that he recently learned that um, the vice presidential presumptive nominee had turned black. So my question was, what does it mean to turn black? Well, she is of mixed heritage. Vice President Harris is half Indian and half Jamaican black. So uh, she is a mixed heritage, and you guys know for a fact that when you're a mixed heritage, it usually goes what way? It goes to the black side. It goes to the black side. And all of us know people who have passed. I don't think any one of us who doesn't know a person who hasn't lived a complete life on the other side. And for those of you who don't know what passing is, I mean, go back and pull the old movie Imitation of Life. It's one of the best. If you don't get it from there, you won't. But there are so many others. So, she recently turned black. Well, she didn't recently turn black. She attended Howard University, even though it's open, but she didn't deny her blackness at Howard. She pledged Alpha Kappa Alpha. Come on, and she after that she attended the University of
Hmm.
California. He made the accusation that she didn't pass the bar exam. Well, that's a pretty rigorous exam, and that was not the truth. She did pass it the second time around. Let's not lie. But the reason he didn't want to come after he found out that the presumptive nominee wasn't coming is because he didn't want to be fact checked online. And we're talking about the national block. Please understand me. They're gonna fact check you anyway. So he didn't want that to happen, and they were saying we can't do that. It's going to be done. So while the president was getting ready to uh, uh, make a statement about his not coming, he went on stage. So that's how that happened. But the turning black, the not passing the exam, and he started what I like to call the fear scenario. They're coming to take your jobs. Look, in order to get people to do what you want, sometimes you got to scare them to death. It's like the Hanks and the Ghosts back in, post Reconstruction days. There's a Hank in the house, don't go by there. That ain't true. Well, what again are black jobs? And as Vice President Harris said, what someone said of her position, she has a black job and she's getting ready to take the biggest black job there is. And Simone Biles made a comment this morning that she was enjoying her black job. Okay, so that black jobs thing is wearing us out here. And the other thing is, why doesn't he understand why is it that we have people who are not hearing the dog whistles, who are not hearing the messages? I mean, I watched that and I had to force myself to
Hmm.
watch it. I was appalled the way he treated the black women. These are black women. I was pleased that black men didn't get up because normally a situation like he was going through, that would have been some kind of retaliation. You can't say that and behave in that manner. This woman, he referred to the ABC host. She's rude. She's asking nasty questions. Didn't answer anything. Same old, same old. But why can't we hear those messages? I understand the fan base because you can just, you can be taught to think a certain way. But let's be real. You know, listen to what is being said. It's really not coded very well. It's not, you know. But I was just fascinated by that. I'd like to hear your comments on that. Your response to that.
Did you get to watch it, Connie? Did you get
Oh
to
no,
watch it?
no, I just want to
I
hear
was
the
talking to
comment.
Colleen. Yeah, I was talking. Colleen, can you hear me?
Can I hear you?
Oh yeah, you can hear me. Yeah.
Yeah, I can hear you.
My take on that. So you were talking about he was saying that the the organization where he was, the lady was rude, or was this a different?
No, no, the lady was rude because she didn't do all that. She did the welcome, and she wasn't falling over for him.
Right.
He was, and they had President Obama, they had President Clinton, they've had President Bush, but God's gift. What's that? We're not, I'm trying to. You say you're in a hurry. You act like you're in a hurry to get somewhere. Let's get on with the business of doing. I'm asking you a question. I really need a response.
And the thing about that is that the people, the person you're talking about, I don't like to say name, the person you're talking about is so used to people, like you were saying, bowing down. You didn't say it like that, but bowing and bending to everything and trying to accommodate him in whatever he does, wherever he goes, right or wrong. And this time it didn't happen.
No.
And I'm so glad that it didn't happen because people were being for real.
Yeah.
And so when it changes on people, then if they're used to having everybody cater to them and all of that, and when it changes, it's a shock to them. And then somebody also asked me, do you think that a person can be that? And I won't say the word that was used. And I said, surely. And I said, I can see, it seems to me like sometimes people see life as a game, like a game board. And they're looking, it seems like they think they're in a game, and they see things and they try to manipulate and maneuver and do all the things. It's just like they're playing through life. And
Mm-hmm.
I believe that that's what that person sees when he looks at the world and everything else. What else could he see? What else? I mean, to act like that. And then I'm so glad that he finally got a touch of reality.
Wow.
And then he couldn't handle it.
He was booed, by the way. I was reading this morning how many times he was booed by the statements that he made. We as a group, as a group, we
Mhm.
just tell it like it is. That was a song in the 50s or 60s or whenever. I may be older than you guys, but it
Tell
was
it like it
tell it
is.
like it is.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
just
well,
tell it
we know
like it is.
about that.
Yeah,
Okay, anyway,
tell it like it is.
I was gonna give you the tune now.
Go right ahead. I've been singing it ever since, really. I
we
can't even
don't
remember
forget,
who recorded it.
we don't forget those songs. No, no, no. But anyway, those are some good suggestions that you brought forth. And about that, I watched it, and like you said,
Mm-hmm.
what is a black job? And the question was asked, what do you mean? What is a black job? And then talking about people coming, taking jobs and things like that. So anyway, I think he got a taste of reality then. I really do. I really do. So, Sister Claudine,
Do you,
Pastor,
do you think he realized that we have scruples? Or we have intelligence that we don't have to put up with that?
I I hope he did. But then, like I said, the way that I feel like he sees life, it's just like he's playing, like on the playground, playing a
Mm-hmm.
game and looking at everything, and it looks like just a game. Because how can anybody have
Like he playing a video game
that
with life.
too? Yeah,
yes.
like that. And then like
Mm-hmm.
how they have these boards, and like they have these little cars they put on there, and they have the little people they put on there and all of that, and you can move them around and all of that. Before we had all the electronic games and all of that. And I think that that's how he sees life.
Hmm.
That we're parts on that board, on that.
Yeah, that is, it's a game. It's a big game. And because I see the way his psyche, and it seems like that's what he is doing. He's playing a game, walking through life, and he's used to being able to do and say what he wants to say whenever he wants to say it, whenever. But
And
Do y'all think
then
he's artistic?
autistic, it could be. I'm gonna have to get the door. Just go right ahead, y'all.
Artistic bipolar? There's all
oh,
that mixed
you're
together.
saying there's an issue there. Yeah, there's an issue there. Um,
Mm-hmm.
uh, this
Oh,
morning,
okay, good.
it was reported that it was his people who the interview was
Okay, I'm
supposed to
gonna
go
put
an
my things
hour,
back on here.
Mm-hmm.
1 hour, but they pulled the interview short because of
Mm-hmm.
the behavior, the responses. But I was just upset with it. You know, I just thought, well, I know how this is going to end before it starts. So you gonna go in there anyway. But then JD Vance said that it was a great thing for him to go into hostile territory, and win people up. You didn't win anybody over. You
I
probably,
pray he didn't say 2 Corinthians. Huh.
but that's what's on my mind this morning. Thank you for listening.
Well, I am so
I'm
glad.
thinking that child didn't fall far from the tree, and when they didn't bring him the other night to the Republican Party, I say he must have been gonna tear up something because he tore up the White House. So they take him out of there, tore it up. They'd take him out of there. I'd say like father, like son, and and I feel sorry for his little wife because she really can't fake it. She tries her best, but she just cannot fake it. When he grabs her hand, it seems like a little bit of him goes all over her plate.
No, no, no.
She'll be looking beside his head. She'll be just smiling. And when he does that, it looks like something says, "Oh my God, oh my God." I don't know. I really don't know what this man means. I don't think he knows what he means. I don't think he knows. I think, okay, for instance, when he was up there on the stage the other night somewhere, and he was just rocking with a smirk on his face. His mind was so far from that where he was, and he was like, "Ah, I did it, I did it." I mean, he was just gloating in his so quote unquote defeat over the Democrats. But it's not over till God says it's over. And so he just amazes me at his show and tell pony show. That's what I call it. A
And
show and tell pony show.
yes, yes.
Because to me, what he did with that uh, attempt on his life, how can you have, what was it, 9 men, snipers, and they were cut off from communications? They had no communication for so many minutes.
No.
So they didn't even know. Only that one saw that young boy on that. And they stood there and stared at each other, they say, for a minute. Because both of them probably looking like, what's going on? We wasn't advised of this. And when that kid saw that, I'm sure he probably thought in his mind, they finna kill me. I'm not finna get a dime. So let me just start shooting up some people, make myself famous, because that's what people now think that's what they're doing when they kill people, is they're making themselves famous.
Mm.
And that's what they live to do now. And then when he turned around and they trying to take him out, he has on no shoes, and the blood was dribbles of blood. And he was turned the wrong way to have been shot. He was facing the mic, and he turned to the, let's see, standing there, he's turned to the right from the mic. And then he claimed he was shot. But there was a board behind him, a big billboard behind him. So where was the man sitting, on top of the billboard, on top of that way? Because I haven't seen the structure of that yet, but it's just amazing that he really is. I guess we really have to give him credit for this. He is a genius. Not for the good, maybe for the bad, because he knows how to orchestrate drama. He in the wrong business. He really should have been in the acting, because he's good at it. He knows how to, and he does not care. We knew that from his show on TV, The Apprentice. He does not care one bit about another human being. He only cares about his, but his agenda, what he wants, when he wants it, how he wants it. And have y'all ever read the story of his dad
No,
and his uncles?
I haven't.
His dad was worse than him,
Right, I
and his
did.
dad treated him bad. All of this, animosity that he has is a buildup from his dad, from his childhood. So in his mindset, nobody else is gonna walk over me, nobody else is gonna mistreat me. And his niece said his dad and them used to beat him. And that's amazing because it's amazing how childhood issues flow into our adulthood and we don't see it. We don't we don't interpret it as being a part of that because we've shut that part out and all we want is vengeance. So whatever it takes for me to be on top of the world, everybody else is meatloaf. Forget it.
Mhm. Yes,
And
and
especially black people.
right, and that's that psyche, and like you said, it stems over, it comes over into your adulthood, and so many times with that psyche, people don't realize that they're acting out their past through their present and their future because of the way they were treated when they were in childhood, and even sometimes past things that have happened while they were adults. And that's why I was saying that then a person has had what we feel like a guarded life. It seems like they might have been mistreated, but then it seems like they had everything they wanted and got it when they wanted, so they expect to do it next
Mhm.
and expect everybody to jump when they say jump and accept me as I am. And I feel like I am the king of the world, and so you treat me like that.
Do you think
And
he
then
has animosity toward women? Or does he
I,
like any woman really, other than a pawn?
I really don't know about that. I, I, it's hard to tell because I don't think anybody's been able to sit down with him, a psychologist, psychiatrist, or somebody to really get
The
him
only
to.
woman that could handle him was his first wife, and he put her in. He put her in the golf course. So they can't even go visit her. They can't even go see because he did it to her again, and this time she was going to get him for that. He did it to her again. She was a socialite, and when he did that thing on Washington, it killed her business, and she was very upset about it because she
Wow.
had beat him at his game when they got divorced and all that stuff. And
Mhm.
so, because I don't know if y'all saw the pictures of her, they took the pictures of her on the stairwell. You've never seen
Uh-huh.
anybody fall down the stairs and be laying like a beauty queen. No, it was
What?
staged. She was laying like she supposedly fell down the stairs, but
Oh,
she's laying like this with her legs swung like that, just like you're getting ready to take a Photoshop.
oh,
And then he buried her in the golf course.
Yeah.
oh, okay.
I don't think the kids knew he was going to do that, but he buried her so far in there, can't nobody get in it.
Oh, wow. Wow.
So I don't.
I,
I mean, this man is doing all of this stuff front and center in our faces, in the authorities' faces, and it's almost like he's got a spell on the world. A
Yes.
real, it's like he is orchestrating, and stuff. And bless Paula White's heart. Okay, we won't talk about her.
okay. I, I don't know. I don't know what's going
And
on
she
with
prayed all them witches from Brazil. Where were they from? Prayed them from Brazil and what is it? She prayed them from Brazil and Africa.
Yeah.
I think they forgot to show up
Yeah.
Oh,
because it didn't help him right then.
oh, wow.
And let me ask you something. What do y'all think about? It's crossing over from something. But what do you think about the case that he did between the DA and that other lawyer in Atlanta?
Well, of course, it was dirty, but hey, that's the norm for that team of people
But
to.
what about the world taking something that's very private and just blasting their private life on national TV? And what do you think about? Oh, that's a good subject right there. The lawyer, the lady.
Oh,
What did y'all see in her?
hey, she has strength.
Huh?
She's strength and stamina, and she's brave to take it on.
She
I'm
liked
telling
that man. She
you. Huh?
liked that lawyer.
Wait a
Remember
minute.
closer to the last of the trial, she told him, when they put him back on trial and say one of them would have to walk away. And she said, I had my kids to wear your picture on them, and I wore your picture on them. And she was finna tell some more. And the judge say, I don't think we need to hear this. And he cut her off. And so, but when she went to the Senate and the black senator, he had it all down in black and white, and she couldn't answer it. But we know that they were not going to allow a black man to get that white woman
Oh,
because he had her so confused about the
I'm on
about
something totally different.
uh-huh. He had
Okay,
her confused.
okay. I thought you were talking about the DA and the other man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was talking about them, but I was talking about the white lawyer, the lady that took over. She was the
Oh,
head of all the other lawyers that were
okay.
for Donald Trump. And he asked her, "You did all of this for somebody to go to a hotel and get $45 just because to see if they borrowed some money from the." They were trying to say that they took money like Donald Trump did, but they could never
Oh,
get that total story to come together like it should. But I
oh,
knew when she went to the Senate, those other senators wasn't finna let her fall. You knew that from
oh,
the
wow.
way they just sit there and look, because they were amazed at this black lawyer that had that much wisdom and he could put that timeline together like that. And so Donald Trump, it to me has people strategically positioned to look for things that he can use to orchestrate somebody, to
Mm-hmm.
try to control somebody, because his greatest thought is to be the dictator of the world.
Yeah.
That's the Russian in him. That really is to me the Russian in him, because he wants to be head in charge. He wants at any cost.
At any
And
cost.
to say something like what black people would be losing their jobs, what you trying to say? You trying to say that the other people are gonna come over here and we going over to the fields where they come from? You have not met the gang members of today. I promise them you haven't met them. These kids are not the kids that we were when we grew up. These
No.
kids are vicious. They can antagonize you just like he does all this orchestrate, all this silly stuff he does. These kids are terrible. He wants to put them all in jail, probably at 10 or 9 or 8 or 7, because they are. I was preaching somewhere and a little boy walked up to me and his mother said, "Pray for him." And so I said, "What are you doing?" And he said to me, "I'm in a game." So I said, "What?" This kid was 7, I think, then. "Why would you be in a game with big boys?" He said, "What do you mean? Why would you be running with big boys and they tell you what to do?" He said, "No, I am the head hunter of the game." And I put the mic down. I said, "Blow me away, Jesus." I thought, what did I say? What did I say to that? I
Yeah.
say that one more time for me. I really don't think I heard you right. You are the what? I said, "So you tell him who to beat up, who to do stuff to? Are you dealing?" He said, "I can't say that in front of all these people." 7 years old. But I'm gonna tell you something. His mother never started bringing church. I talked to that child every time he came to church. And when he would tell me a lie, I would wait till church is over. I said, "You stood up in church and told me a lie today. Your mother told me you had a fight at school. You told me, oh, I'm doing better." He could lie, looking in your face. But I report today that he is in high school. He's in the 12th grade. He's doing good. He's playing ball. I
Wonderful.
said his name. I won't call his name. I say, "So you're not fighting?" I'm still working on that, Pastor. I'm still working on that. So when they call him to tell his testimony, he said, "I can't talk to y'all. Let me turn and talk to her. That's my friend. I can say whatever I want to say to her. And she ain't gonna judge me. She gonna get on me. And she gonna call me and say, 'What you doing? What you doing?' I'm not getting good reports and I don't like that." He said, "So I can talk to her. And I need to tell her anyway what all I'm doing and accomplishing." I said, "Well, don't play with the little girls. You stay true to your football, and so you can go through college and get a degree." He said, "I'm gonna do that." I said, "So when you get rich, you come back and thank me for putting you on the right track and God for blessing you to live long enough to get there." He just
Oh,
started laughing. "Yes, ma'am."
thank
Because
God
God
he's
did
on
it, didn't
the right track. Oh, yes.
he?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And so the reason he talked with you because he knew you were genuine and
Mm-hmm.
you were earnest and honest.
Mm-hmm.
And that drew him to you as well. The Holy Spirit drew him to you,
Mm-hmm.
but he saw all of that truthfulness, and that makes a difference.
It
That
does. It
makes
really
really
does.
good. Yes, and I was going to go back to, like you were saying, that it seems like people are strategically placed in, you know,
Mm-hmm.
enemies and things like that to certain groups of people. And you know, the saying, they say that people will come together if they have a common enemy.
Right.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Uh, And so all those people out there who are doing all of this evil stuff, spreading all these evil rumors and all that, they have a common enemy, and we know who that enemy is. And so
Mm-hmm.
they will do it. They will band together to accomplish what they want to get accomplished. Now they might not like each other, but if they have a goal in mind,
Yeah.
they
Come
will
and go.
band together to accomplish that goal. And then they're going back, they're doing the same old thing all the time anyway, but just as long as they get the goal accomplished. Now we know, and then I'm going to go to this, we know because uh, Apostle, Overseer Bertha Dunn, she said, oh, she said, no, she said the enemy is really fighting her because she's supposed to be on here with the mother's board, but here's the message that she sent on Facebook. She said the enemy is fighting me hard. She said
Mm-hmm.
I can't sign in, and so okay, I'm going to send her the link again. So yes, you can get Facebook and not YouTube. You can get both of those at the same time, but I'm going to send her another link because she has been trying to get in, and I don't understand. You know, sometimes this technology is something else. But anyway, but people band together because they have a common enemy, and so that's what we see today, and that's what we've seen. And even if people are wronged, and so one of Overseer Don's suggestions, or one of the topics that she wanted to talk about, was, you know, why, what is it? Let me see here. Uh, she was talking about how this certain person makes fun, never been in the military, and makes fun of the people who are special and handicapped. We've seen that too. That, I mean, no, like somebody said, do you think that that person could be like that? Do you think the person is acting, and like you said, Pastor Claudine, you say he needs to be needs to be acting, but I think all this is just genuine, and he's just being who he is. And then all there are people that just don't like certain people, a certain group of people, and they will band with him just to accomplish a common goal, right or wrong. And we know there's so much of this that's going on in this world, in this United States, is wrong. Now, and the morals, what, oh, that's what it was. One of Lucia Don's was how, what are the qualifications, what are the requirements, the standards for being able to run for the president of the United States. As a matter of fact, in all offices, what are the standards? And so, you know, I read that about, you have to be 35 years of age, you have to have been in the United States, what is it, 18 years? 18 years? 19, I did that on the first show. And then you have to raise at least $5,000 to be able to run for the president of the United States. And then also the question was, I posed the question, what uh, can you run as a convicted felon? And yes, convicted felons can run for the president of the United States, even though they can't vote. They can still be voted in office. That makes no sense to me. No sense to me. And then another thing, when you are admittedly say things that you've done, these are nasty things that you've done in your lifetime, and people just look over that. No matter what the cost, no matter what you've done in your lifetime, we want you, since you are out there, we want you to be the head, and that's it. It matters not what you've done, whether you live up to the standards, whether you are stand up person, and all of these things. So people, like I said, they band together to accomplish a goal.
Mm.
That's what we see. That's what we see. We see all of these laws being passed, all of these um, laws being struck down, and then giving. Oh, here's another one. Giving what is it? The president immunity.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You
Now
know
that was
that
amazing there.
I'm telling you. But then they put these people in place. You remember he chose some of those justices.
Yes,
And
all
so
of them.
now that these things are coming up, they are siding with him.
I believe, I really do believe that I don't believe anybody's that crazy to be put on the Supreme Court because when they first got in there, they switched on Donald Trump. Everything that he tried to pass, they vetoed it or they didn't sign it or they said it was illegal and they wouldn't do it. But Donald Trump is what we call a silent crook. You know, he's got avenues and things. I can only imagine in my mind that this man grew up as a child playing by himself, and talking to himself, and just doing all kind of stuff. And so he's got all this stuff in his head to play out and to do and to be destructive and to be in control. I believe, I don't think anybody would risk being elected to a board like that to make decisions that make no sense, that give a person who has now been proven to be guilty of a whole lot of things that kind of power that he can say, hey, hit the red button, tell a sniper, go kill this one. Well, really, he showed us. He showed us with the man that they say tried to attempt to him. They had no communications. How would they know to guard him from them if they weren't taught? And then so here he is. He's got all this power, underground power, all kind of power. He don't mess with them because they're always watching. You see, but he can get to their family, he can get to their children and their parents, and tell them if you don't vote, because we've seen it on Apprentice that he is a threatener. He will threaten you. He will threaten you. He will find a way to infuriate you and to intimidate you. Because once a man told me that was very powerful. When you make a man fear you, you can control him.
Right.
Yeah.
And if he made those Supreme Justices fear him because he could get to their families, and you done did all this stuff to me when I was president, you kept vetoing me. I put you, I can hear the eye ceremony going on. I put you in there. I picked you. I did this. I went crazy. And now I is mad at you. So I'm going to get back. I'm going back to the White House if I have to get rid of everybody. Because that's just, if he comes grips and he ain't there, they might as well lock him up because he is going to be detrimental to society. He will
Uh,
probably move back to Russia and join, what's his name? Putin. He will do something astronomical to get back. Anybody that would orchestrate a coup on your own government and then get away with it
got away with it.
saw a police officer's arm stuck in a revolving window, and those people on their own kind pushed his arm and just really what broke his arm almost off. A young man, he cried, he begged, he cried, please don't break my arm, please don't take my arm off. And yet still, your own people are steady pushing a door on you, steady aiming guns at you. And then you have no remorse, you have no guilt, but everybody else gets to go to jail, but not you.
Everybody around.
And you gave us the signals when they were supposed to turn it on and when they were supposed to turn it off. He's gave us some more signals like that this time around too.
Yeah. He has done that.
Hmm. He's
And
messing with people's psychic front, back, and okay. And he's look like he go looking for crazy people. Misery love company, I guess, huh?
yeah, we were talking about the family a few minutes ago. The new book that just came out is called All in the Family. That's
Hmm.
the name of it. It's by his nephew Fred. It, there's a subtitle. It's All in the Family. How the Trump how the Trump family got this way, and it just came out the last day of July. It's
Hmm.
by Fred Trump III. And I haven't read the whole book, but I have read excerpts of the book. And you
Mm-hmm.
were talking about the military. No, he didn't serve in the military, but he does say ugly things about veterans. You were talking about the disabled. Fred's son is severely disabled, and his grandfather set up a health fund, a health trust fund. So
Mm-hmm.
the expenses are astronomical because the disease that he has is so, it's something genetic. And you know what he said, it didn't come from our side of the family. He
Mm-hmm.
did have a talk with Fred, and he did. The money was running out. So that meant the family had to get together. And I think this is why Fred wrote this book, just like his sister Mary,
Mm-hmm.
because it was said that people who are disabled, their care is expensive, and, they should just die. You were saying that
Right.
about your nephew. So that's something that,
Mm-hmm.
the book has not been out long enough, but hopefully people see that and understand how he handles the healthcare situation, the national healthcare situation.
Mm-hmm.
Those are
Right.
those quiet messages you need to really
Mm-hmm.
listen to. If he's saying that about his family, he's showing the crap doesn't care much about us as people he does not even know. Now the
Right.
JD fans
And that's
go
what's
to
amazing. How our people just stand up for anything.
hillbilly allergies, and they
Mm-hmm.
say a lot about him too.
Yes,
Right.
He
agree.
probably hillbilly, yeah, but there's some things you should have kept to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Don't put
well,
it in.
my Lord. Well, people that books like that will sell. They will sell, and people know the right time. If you put something out at the right time, it
Yeah.
will sell
Mm-hmm.
when the atmosphere is right. And so, what we're going to do? Let's go to. Uh, did you watch Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee's funeral and her tribute the night before?
I
I didn't
didn't
understand the question. What'd you say?
watch
She
it.
did a tribute and her funeral. Sheila
She re-
Jackson Lee.
she put a tribute in the film.
No, they did a tribute to her on what was it, night before last, and the funeral was yesterday.
Yeah, I knew they were
Sheila
coming back
Jackson
to
Lee.
do that. Both,
Uh-huh.
both, both President Biden and Vice President Harris. I knew they were
Yes,
coming back 30 years in
yes.
Congress. That is something.
It was really really nice, and they talked about so many of the things and the accomplishments, and they talked about the influence that she had, and so many people that she had helped, even if they weren't in her district. If they would come to her, then she would go find whoever was available for that person to help that person, and people just talking and talking and talking and talking about being in office. And I was listening to that and watching those people talk about her, and I said, now that's it. She was in there, I think they said 29 or no 30 years, but
Yes.
all of the things that she did in that time, she started out working, and she accomplished so much. And I said, now I don't mind them staying in office that long if they accomplish things
Mm-hmm.
that should be accomplished. And they talked about it. And then the thing that really really gave me another great mm, look at Kamala Harris is that she did yesterday. She did not take a lot of time. She stayed on point, and she really did a great job on the eulogy. She did a great job. And you know how people be shouting out stuff, and she told them, she said, no, this, we're focusing today on Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee.
Mm-hmm.
And so she did not venture off of that. And then when she finished, she went down and she spent some time with the family, talking to them, even though she had already been with them. And then another thing I admire about President Biden, when he went there, what was it, Wednesday, whatever day he got there, and her husband, he's what is vice president of the University of Houston. And see, I learned some things that I didn't know, which I had no reason to, be curious about them anyway. But I learned that he's a vice president of the University of Houston. So he talked the other night, and he was talking about how, see, this is what what I admire about people, and this is what leaders should do. I know they have busy schedules,
All right.
but we need their time sometimes. And so he said that when President Biden got there, and he said he thought he was just going, the husband, Dr. Lee, that's what they call him. I think they call him Dr. Lee. He thought he was, with his time schedule and all, he thought he was just going to come in, and stay a little bit. But he said President Biden told him, no, I came to spend some time with you all. And he said President Biden spent at least 2 hours with them,
Oh,
just
that's cute.
talking and being there with them. Now, see, that's the way leadership is supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
Spending some time. And like Vice President Kamala Harris, she spent time with them. I mean, and then, but like all the things that they were saying that she accomplished, she going back to Sheila Jackson Lee, all of the things that I said, now, if they, and I'm repeating myself, I know, if they accomplished half of the things that they talked about her accomplishing in a 30-year time span, I don't mind them being in there that long as they have something to show for the time that they have been in
Mm-hmm.
there. And then we were talking about how people, and one pastor was saying that there was a church that was trying to get a loan to rebuild, I believe, and then the loan fell through, and they got in contact with Sheila Jackson Lee. Sheila Jackson Lee called somebody, and that loan came through. Now, see, that's the way they're supposed to represent,
Mm-hmm.
because those people in office, they have power to do good, and they can do a lot of good, but so many of them choose to pick and choose who they want to help. What can I get out of this person if I help
Mm-hmm.
this person? Do they have anything, so when I need to call in a favor, can they repay the favor? And so that's how so many things are going this time. But I just want to put a positive note on it. Say, Kamala Harris, I am impressed with her. I really am. And so I'm going to do mine. I said, people, I don't try to tell people which way to vote,
Mm-hmm.
who they should like, who they should not like, and all of that. But she really, really, really impressed me yesterday, especially.
Prophetess Todd Hall said at a place he preached night before last. He says, "All you men, get ready, because y'all have messed up royally." And the Lord told me to tell you, it's the day of the woman.
My.
And everybody started laughing. He said, "I know." So he turned and looked at the pulpit. He said, look at their faces. Ain't none of them saying amen." See, but it is the day of the woman, because there is a time in our society where we need somebody to show compassion and love and concern, to be gentle and still, in the same instances, be firm. Who
That's
can do
right.
that better than a woman? She can
I'm
raise her
telling
children, she can punish them, she can love her husband, she can cook, she can put the bacon on the stove. She's a Proverbs 31 woman. And
you.
this woman is not only that, but she's an educated communicator, because she is a lawyer.
Yes, ma'am.
I
Yes,
told a
ma'am.
young lawyer at Tremel Mill office in Houston. He called me, and I say, "You got the short end of the stick." And so he got on there. I say, he told something that wasn't true, and they had sent me some papers where they sent something that was supposed to go to me, to a man in Kansas City. I said, the problem is, Reem, this, it was in November, and it is now the end of January. Is you sent that man my money, and he won't give it back. And so he said, haha, and he kind of sniggled. I said, but let me tell you something. You're a new lawyer, and you really want to be a good one. You studied hard. You started to give up, didn't you? He said, how do you know that? I said, just listen to me for a minute. And you started to give up, but you went on and did it. I said, and you went through, I said, you had to study so many cases. I said, that's the good part about a lawyer. They got to have a brain. I
Got to
said,
have a
who
break.
got a better brain than a woman sometimes? She can remember when you did something when you were a little kid. Boy, I whooped you about that when you were a kid, don't you? They can call back on you and say, okay, I'm gonna put it on shelf and I'm gonna go back and get it. And then I told him, I say, but they sent you to school, you did all that, you almost gave up because there's so much to learn. I said, and then you went to, I said, but the final class they sent you to, I said, if I tell you what class it was, if I'm right, will you say yes? He said, yes, ma'am. I said, they sent you to acting school because they had to teach you how to read gestures. They had to teach you how to lie. Because a liar cannot lie in and go like you lying to me right now. He said that, you know, he said, Miss Collins, I don't know how you know it, but that sure is the route we go. He said at the end, we have to learn how to read gestures. We have to learn how to hold our gestures back and do what I say, because all lawyers don't tell the truth. I said, so the greatest asset a person can have to be a politician is to be saved and truthful and
Mhm.
to have the experience of a lawyer behind their back. That
Mhm.
means they know how to communicate. They know how to change their tone.
That's right.
Paula knows how to become all things to all people. She just never did it because, and first of all, what is a vice president supposed to normally do? He stands behind the president, or she stands and just stand there with their arms folded, nodding their head. They can never step forward, go beyond, unless the president send them somewhere. In the beginning, Joe didn't send her nowhere. She was just there. But toward the end, he started sending her out and started getting good reports. You know what I mean? Those that didn't like her, everybody gonna find something to say about you.
Right.
But I
Right.
pray for her. I said, Lord, give her wisdom how to present herself, because she can be all things to all people.
That's
She's
right.
been trained to do that. She's been trained to read people. She's been trained to know when people are telling the truth or not. But give her the point where she can be that feminine warrior, and she can also be that warrior like Deborah, however you want to
That's
say
right.
it, and
That's
that can
right.
go before a man and do the job. Because
Right.
Deborah told, what is it, Barack, if I go before you, I'm getting the credit.
That's right.
I'm getting the credit. And so if we stand behind it, if women will stand behind this woman, sometimes our
Exactly.
greatest enemy is another woman,
Hmm.
because we've been brainwashed with men so much. And we need a woman right now for the issues, for the birth control, all these things that these men,
Yes.
Donald, was that Donald Trump? There is the black man that follows Donald Trump. He's a preacher. He's the owner of the Now Network. He got up in one rally and said, now, men, we can control the women and we can do whatever we want to do with them when we want to do it. Who would even think of something like that and say that you're a man to God? And Donald Trump was smiling all the way to wherever
So
he
what?
going.
What do you say? Say it again, please. I was trying to send Sister Bertha. Say again what you just said, please. Excuse me.
To me,
What the preacher said.
what the
Yes.
preacher said, he said that now, men, we can control the women and we can do whatever we want to do to them when we want to do to them, because we have control. Because they were trying to set up another thing, another law they're trying to pass, where women is something else they don't want women to be able to do. But this is crazy. They don't even want women who are impregnated with a child that is totally deformed in every aspect, and he does not have even a chance of making it in any kind of life. Uh, because sometimes, well, I know a young lady was born, the baby was so disfigured, eyes here, everywhere, and they did not even let her see the baby. The baby was sent to science, and then they were buried, and none of that was known to her, because
Wow.
the doctor's strategy was she wouldn't be able to live. She would never have any peace in her mind or anything. It's just one every so many years that a child is born like that. And
Hmm.
so it's just amazing to me. My mother once told me, she said, isn't it amazing that in the world as we know it, women have no rights and they don't want to have any rights. They still don't make the money men make. But in the Bible, women were over a lot of things. Women preached. She said a woman was over the school of prophets. She said, and Deborah was a judge.
Hmm.
You know, women had power. And I had a preacher, my cousin, Joyce Rogers' brother, comical, had walked up to me with a pastor, a superintendent. He was on his way to be a bishop. And he said, this is my cousin. She's a pastor. He was clowning me, right? He said, for real? Are you really? Really? He said, you must want it to be Gloria Copeland or Joyce Myers. Y'all saw them on TV and you wanted to be like them. And I say, superintendent, and on your way to be a bishop, do you really believe that? He said, yes, I do. I said, I want you to go to Yale University and pull up all the papers on women in ministry. I think you need to take a step back and look at some stuff. Biblically, go to Greece and look at them too. Just look at women in general, their life
Wow.
from the inception of a woman. Just look at it.
Well,
You're the
can
one
we
in the
come back,
Bible.
come to that next Friday? It's 2 o'clock. As a matter of fact, we have been talking. Thank you, ladies. Thank you so much for such
Thank
great
you.
discussion. And hopefully, Overseer Don will be with us next week. I've enjoyed you so much. Thank you so much.
I
And
enjoyed you,
everybody,
Dr.
we
McAllister.
have
Beautiful.
some more topics. And if you would like to send in some topics that you would like for us to discuss, please send them to us. Pastor Claudine, would you give your email address or whichever one you want to give so they can
You talking to
contact
me?
you? Uh-huh.
My email address is claudine.collins@gmail.com.
Okay, Claudine Collins at
Claudine.collins
gmail.com.
at gmail.com. I think. I
Claudine.collins
better
at
look at
gmail.com.
that. I got so many emails
And
addressed.
so I'm
Wait,
going to put it in the comments
let me
after.
look at that because I have quite
Okay,
a few
after
email
we go off,
addresses,
and
and I don't want to give you the
Dr.
wrong one.
Mack.
Um, anything you have to send it to Lighthouse, WMAA at yahoo.com.
All right.
Thank you guys for letting me share today.
Oh yes, thank you everybody, and you can contact me through any of these sites or text. And
Thank
remember
you.
to tomorrow at 7:39 p.m., God willing, the Saturday evening Bible lesson session with Greater Gospel Temple and Inspiration God Ministries will be on, and then Sunday morning at 7 a.m. And so, Pastor Claudine,
Mm-hmm.
you on Zoom?
I'm sorry.
Okay, your email address, please.
My email address is claudinecollins@gmail.com.
Claudine Collins at gmail.com. And
Mm-hmm.
then what time you have you do your worship on
On
is it
Sunday mornings at 10.
at 10
But
on
we are on free conference call.
free
You have the
conference?
ability to do just what you do on Zoom on
Mhm.
freeconferencecall.com.
So they can just email,
Freeconferencecall.hud.com. Uh,
they can email you and you will give them the information.
yeah, hold on, I can get it for you for just give me a
Okay.
moment. All right.
Sorry.
No. I
Okay.
don't think she likes me to be on the phone.
That's what I
Just
appreciate.
1 minute. I'm trying to get to it.
Okay.
Just give me 1 moment.
Everybody,
Cindy.
thank you so much for being with us. And,
All right.
and thank you, Sister Overseer Don. She has been with us the whole way. Thank you so much for being with us. And we're going to get you on. We are
Oh my
definitely going
goodness,
to get
Cindy.
you on.
All right.
I've got so many pictures and stuff in this phone. I don't have my book with me, and if I go get it,
So
it'll
I can
take me
put
that
it on the
much time to get
Facebook
back.
comments if you just send it to me.
Okay, I let me do that because I
Okay.
know it's in here, but it's way
Okay. So
down
we're
here,
going to,
and I have
sir.
a prayer
Okay.
line in the morning times.
Oh, yes, right. So I'll
Yeah.
put all that on our Facebook, on the Facebook,
Okay.
and then put it on yours too, please. And then I'll share it with you. Okay, everybody, we love you. We thank you so much for being with the Mothers Board Inc.
God
Enjoy
bless.
your
Enjoyed you.
weekend. Oh,
Enjoyed you all. Pray for
enjoyed
me.
you too. Oh, yes. Everybody love you.
Say a prayer for me. I have an engagement on Sunday. Pray for me.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
God bless.
All right. Bless you too.
Love you.
Let me get the right one here.